Okay, so once all this is done, the model is actually ready to be exported. So we've taken all the maps from, we've reset the pivot point to be in the correct position. We've actually rotated the pivot to be set in the right orientation as well for Unity. So everything is done here now, and it's one object, so we can actually export it. So I'll just go to File, Export, hit the arrow and Export selected, just to make sure that this is definitely, I know there's nothing else in the scene, but just to make sure, definitely it's good practice to actually have that this is all you want to export. So I'm just going to export it to, just in my directory, what I have here is a folder for it, so the concert chair. And I'm going to export it as an FBX because that's what we would export them as usually, bring them into Unity. So it's concert chair, and I'm going to save it there. Now it'll give you a list of options as to what you want to include in your export and what parameters you want to put with it. So this checkbox here is for embed media. That's any like textures or maps or anything, so we don't want that because we don't have any maps supplied in here at the minute. So we're going to unselect that. Geometry wise, smoothing groups we do want in, and that's about it. Everything else can stay the same. Animation, we don't want any animation with this because it's just a single chair. No cameras, no lights. Advanced options are here. The units, we're going to change that to, actually centimeters should be fine because the scale factor is 1. If we have it automatic, sorry, it should be fine because the scale factor is 1, so it'll just transfer 1:1. Y is up is what we want there because the alternative is just changing Z is up. We know it already is Y is up, but again, we just leave it at that. UI, all these, they're all perfectly fine. Information is fine. So we will just press OK on that, and that is now exported. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to just minimize it here. And I'm going to open up Photoshop. Okay, so just a quick rundown through Photoshop. If I click Photoshop, it's going to open it up here. It'll just take a second. Once you've that done, you can open up your maps from wherever directory you've actually saved them from. So mine's under concert chair, which is here, and I can just open up the AO, the normal maps, and the UV. But what we're going to be using here is pretty much the AO, so, or sorry, the UV. So if I open up another texture, let's say for instance I go into my texture pack, which I've just made myself, and go into wood and select say this wood here. In doing so, I can take say a section of the wood, bring it up into the UV, overlay it, modify the actual size of it here in Photoshop, and you can do little things, just little, I'm sure you know, but little tricks like if I click the magic wand and go back to the first layer, which is the UV layer, select the negative space behind the UVs, it's going to select all the negative space. If I hit Control Shift and I, it's going to invert the selection, so it's actually encapsulating the UVs. And then I can just take away, using Alt and the polygonal lasso, I could just draw around the UVs that are selected that I don't want selected, and it'll just deselect those and leave the rest. So once I've done that, I'm left with just these legs down here, which I want to apply the wood to if this was the right wood texture and so forth. So a little thing I can do here is, because I want to leave some bleeding room around the actual UVs, I want to increase the selection by just a couple of pixels. So if I go to select and go to modify and go to expand, contract would be if the selection was inverted, so expand is what it is at the moment. So I'm going to expand it by say 2 or 3 pixels, so I'll leave it at 3 and I'll press OK, and you'll notice down here that it'll actually get just a little bit bigger once I press OK. So that just means there's a little bit of bleeding room over the UVs. So what I'm going to do this time is Control Shift and I to invert the selection, so I'm actually selecting outside the UV area now, and I'm going to shift from the background layer to the wooden layer here, layer 1, and just press delete on the keypad. and that'll ensure that I actually just have these left. Okay, so once you have your texture finished, this is just a quick example of a texture that I've done here. So that's laid out on the UVW map, and I've just kind of hand painted in a lot of my own AO because there's so much overlap between the pieces, like such as this piece here is the top of the cushion that you sit on, and it's also the bottom of the cushion that you sit on, so I didn't want to have like a real dark area in the bottom as it would be, because obviously the top is going to be much lighter. Now I probably could have separated these and just reduced the size of some of these others, but because I've done it the way I've done it, when it's in Unity I just let the actual dynamic shadows and stuff actually just handle the darkness from underneath the chair and that sort of stuff, so it should be fine. So once you've done that, then you can save it out as a JPEG, and just to show you it in action, I've opened up Marmoset, which is just another tool, and I've imported the model into here so you can see it. That's just the FBX that we exported, so that's in here, and in here I can just apply different types of maps. So I'm just going to apply the albedo and see what it looks like. So here it is here. So it's not too bad. I mean, it's a quick job, but it'll do for the purposes of what we're doing this tutorial for. It's, you can see like the textures don't match up here or here or that kind of stuff, and the actual wood grain effect itself is fairly intense, but you know, it's not too bad for the time we put into it. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to export this now with the texture from Max, so that it all comes in one when it comes into Unity. So I'll show you how to do that now. Okay, so here we are back inside 3ds Max, and the model is still here. So what we're going to do is apply the actual texture to it and then export it again. So I'll just drag this one onto it. That's actually the one that's on it. So when I select this material ball, I'm going to change the texture using the same way we did for the reference images. So we just click the box down here beside the fuse and go to bitmap, and this time we're going to go inside our own folder that we call the concert chair and pick the albedo, and I'm just going to open it up, drag it onto the chair. Oh, it is on, and just click show material in viewport, and there it is. So it doesn't look too bad inside Max, but it will look better inside Unity. So that's that, and that's for just applying that map. And if we're going to do different things like applying normal maps and that sort of stuff, if we just press this button, it'll say go to parent, and then you can get the hand up Okay, so I'll just move this up a bit so you can see it. So I just have it set there that once you press go to parent, it comes back here, and if you just press maps down here, you can apply all different types of maps. So bump map is normal map inside 3ds Max. So if I select that, I can select a normal map down here, normal bump, and inside normal map we can put a bitmap, and it's going to be this one, and that's applied now, so that if we had any sort of normal map that we needed to apply to this, it will show up now. And after that, then that's pretty much that ready to go. So everything else is still the same as the way we left it, so we're just going to export it now, so we can use it in Unity. So export selected as before. Go back here now to inside this concert chair, and we're going to override this one because we know that it's right. And this time the only difference is we're going to embed the media, which means that we're going to take the texture from here into the actual export as well. So when we import it into Unity, it'll have the texture already applied to it. So after you've done that, you can just save 3ds Max and exit out of it.